As the
Quite
man.
yes, very, very interesting, very powerful, empowering, and inspiring. And the millionaire speaker, I got some of his as well, but very interesting. And it is a good that we encourage each other as men, that we challenge, encourage, and empower our men. You know, in Jamaica, we're noted for what is called shame-based operations. You know, shame-based. We criticize each other, we're cynical, we hold each other in contempt instead of encouraging, loving each other. We want to reinforce that together we achieve more. That's the team. Isn't that
Yeah,
so, Courtney? Yeah.
yeah, man. It's true. We try to do the shame, hoping that persons will get better. It actually doesn't work, and
No.
we need to stop that. No, we need to empower, encourage, uplift, and build. Especially in times like these, we are
Yes.
facing challenging times, and we need to work together to ensure we move forward. Well, Kev, as we
Yes.
plan our days, weeks, and months, there are many other males who was doing quiet, so too, until COVID happened and created a new reality. So, because of that, today inside the mailbox, we're going to take a look at unemployment, job loss, and the man. How does unemployment affect a man? How does a man feel when he's unable to provide, especially for his family? Can unemployment affect a man's self-esteem? The big questions. Let's see and listen to what the counseling psychologists have to say about that one, especially. What if his partner is employed? What can he do, or how can he help around the house as the unemployed partner? Does he become the house husband? We want to know. What can a man do while being unemployed? These are some of the questions we have today, and we want to get them answered. We'll be having persons who will help us to answer them. Yes, Kev?
Definitely. So, man oh man, you're in for a treat because we're privileged, honored to be having Jason Brown, 2020 Prime Minister Youth Awardee. He's mentor, village director at SOS Children's Village, YouTuber, owner at Flourishing Men's Care, Organic Men's Care Line. He's a philanthropist and at Live to Give Jamaica. So he's there making sure that he's giving back. Then we also will be having Robert Malcolm, educator of music, international percussionist, specializes in djembe, also hand drums and trap set and others. Two very interesting men them in the place. And so we'll soon be joined by them. We're going to be talking about unemployment and how it affects a man. Very, very big thing, Courtney. Very, very big. And I suspect you will have your perspective on that too as well, Courtney.
Oh yes, I do. We hear the empirical data, I suppose, or at least some of the anecdotal data as to how does this affect a man's psyche, knowing that he already is labeled as the provider and the protector financially, protector physically, protector in terms of principles and policies of his home. How does this affect him, and how does he feel in moving forward? Is he confident enough to move forward? The scripture says a man who has little faith is like a man who walks with a broken leg. And so the limp that is there then sort of cause some debilitating effects, and we're not sure what to do. So man, remember, we want to hear from you. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Love 1FM 101. That is the handle there. You can leave your comments via WhatsApp line at 876-997-3125. Women, remember, we're loving a holy, enough. I might do one for 30 years, so you must know holy that. Women, please remember, you can participate by leaving a message via our WhatsApp, Facebook, or via Facebook or WhatsApp, YouTube. Remember, no voice notes or calls are allowed by the women. The voice notes and the calls are for the men.
Yep, so we're going to take a break. We're going to be right back to know how did COVID impact Jason and Robert? How did they overcome? This is the mailbox. We take a break. We'll be right back after this.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes.
CIBC First Caribbean reminds you that our ABM cards will be deactivated on September 30, 2021 and upgraded to the Visa debit card. Your Visa debit card does everything your ABM card does and more. Use it at any ABM and to shop locally, internationally, and online with funds directly from your savings or checking account. Visit CIBCFCIB.com to sign up for a CIBC First Caribbean Visa debit card today.
DIGICEL. First in a class when you have Digicel. School as prime bundle, that's right. With your educational website, make you bright. Head to the top of your class with your first Digicel SIM and a School as Prime bundle. Get over 142 gigabytes of data so you can have access to educational sites, social media platforms, Digicel apps, and more for as low as $1,500 for 28 days. Get a School as Prime bundle with your first Digicel SIM card. Visit a Digicel store today. DIGICEL. Now is the time to invest in your future. Revolutionize your relationship with money and invest from anywhere with BaritaBoss.com. With Boss, you can invest from the comfort of your home or on the go from your mobile device. Barita's APO closes soon. Don't miss out on this opportunity. The future of money is here. Visit BaritaBoss.com or Barita.com/APO for more information. Barita, making money work for you.
Is your spouse diagnosed with chronic illness? Has your spouse's health condition exposed the love or hidden cracks in your marriage? Is the illness testing the part of your vows that says for better or for worse? Well, we want to know and we want to help you cope. Listen inside the Truly Marvelous program To Heaven to Hold this Thursday, September 2, with host Colleen Beckles and guest Reverend Dr. Dallin Toussaint, as they take a look at in sickness and in health, coping with a sick spouse. That's To Heaven to Hold this Thursday, September 2 at 5:30 p.m. and it's on the family station Love 101.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man.
Welcome back. Welcome back here live on the program, The Mailbox, here on Love 101, the family station. I am Courtney Morrison. And I got my co-host with me, that handsome young man right there. Beside me is Kevin Bailey. I'm sure Muriel agrees with me 100%. Today, inside the mailbox, though, we're looking at unemployment, job loss, and the man. And our guests are Jason Brown, 2020 Prime Minister Youth Awardee, mentor, village director at SOS Children's Village, the bearded man. Yes, he's a YouTuber, owner at Flourish Men's Care and philanthropist, and also Robert Malcolm, educator of music and international percussionist who has worked with the likes of Buju Banton, Chevelle Franklin, Kabaka Pyramid, and myriad of others. Gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to the program, The Mailbox. We're happy to have you. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you. Thank you so much for coming. This is Jason, right?
Yes, this is Jason.
Jason, you wear lots of hats, man. Oh gosh, you managed to accomplish so many things in your young age, eh?
It's God.
Yes,
it's all God. It's all God. All Him.
No, we're very happy that you have consented for this, and we know we're going straight into the chat now because we know how it goes, how time flies when you're having fun. So we're talking about unemployment, job loss, and demand. Whilst the harmful effect of unemployment can be felt by both genders, the research indicates that men are more likely to suffer adverse health consequences than women, especially in the short term. Support services can be improved to ensure that this gender disparity does not lead to men being prevented from returning to work. Courtney, just some information there.
Yes, indeed. And we also know that plays with his psyche to the point that he may end up going places he shouldn't. Unemployed men have a rate of depression twice that of unemployed women. Let me say that again. Unemployed men have a rate of depression twice that of unemployed women. And unemployment may double or even triple the risk of male suicide. Let me say that one again. Unemployment may double or even triple the risk of male suicide. Heavy is the head that bears the responsibility and the burden of provider. Unemployed men experience a 20% excess risk of death compared to the rest of the population, according to Jenny Gulliford, is research and policy officer at the Work Foundation in the UK. Jason or Robert? This is question. Robert, we have you with us. Oh, just Jason.
Yes.
Would you agree with the research, or it's dependent on which country? Is that research something that seems to relate to Jamaica figures? You know, the Reverend Dr. Donovan Thomas probably would be one of those who best suited. But tell us, what do you think? Unemployment affects men. The likelihood of suicide triples. Come on, let's hear what you say. This is a study done in the UK.
Well, I don't believe that it is just for persons in the UK. I do believe it's widespread. Speaking from my experiences, I obviously have not committed suicide in my life, but bless God. Yes, but given the makeup or the psyche of men, we tend to internalize a lot. And I think that is where the issue comes into play, when you don't have that outlet to speak and that you're so cumbered or pressured mentally that the only thing that you find or would see as a relief is to just take your life. Coming from, and the whole matter of depression as well, that was mentioned in the study, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Depression, I that's like I wouldn't say best friend, but I can speak firsthand about that experience, because dealing with unemployment for such a long time, especially during the pandemic, I found myself in that state as well. Mm-hmm. So I can speak directly to that. So I do believe it's not just restricted to the UK, but I believe it applies to men worldwide.
And what did that look like for you, Jason? The COVID, the pandemic, shifting your working circumstances, your ability to earn, and how did that play out in the depression? What did you feel? Where were you going in your thoughts and your mind? What did that look like for you?
Honestly, I am very transparent about my story. It got very rough. And I am speaking as a man of faith, as a Christian, a man who believes in Jesus and claims him as my Lord and Savior. It got very, I'm not going to be a hypocrite, it got very rough. For me, it wasn't a case where I was just starting out as a new professional. I have been working for years. I would have acquired things in life. I would have had responsibilities. I would have been in it's a routine of life with earning, responsibilities, progressing. And then due to the pandemic, I was laid off. So naturally, the first thing being someone that took Bobby, Malcolm, what's up? being someone.
Robert has joined us. Thanks for joining us, Robert. Good to have you. Welcome to the program. We were just acting on some figures here, and Jason was relating to them. He was talking about depression being a past friend of his.
And I'm sorry for breaking. I have to. Malcolm is my boy. We're coming from years. But as I was saying, it was a case where you went to work. You're summoned to a meeting. For me, I was summoned to a meeting, and I was made aware that the following day is your last day. So I did not get time to have a plan. I didn't have time to apply for other jobs. It was just that. And being someone who, believes in God, I'm like, yeah, man, all right, God knows this happening. So something must come, something must happen, At this point, I would have held 2 degrees. I had sufficient experience. I was valued in education or in my sector. And just to fast forward, I was unemployed for 7 months. I was laid off last year.
Did you say 7 months?
Yeah, man. 7. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. When I was laid off last year, October, I did not start working again until June of this year. So when I'm telling you, I went through the motions. All right, trusting God. Okay, you're praying. Okay, you're fixing up your resume. Okay, you're sending out resumes. Okay, you're getting callbacks. Great. You're doing job interviews. They're perfect, but nothing fruitful to come from it. You're hearing persons prophesy over your life. Yeah, man, just trust God, it's gonna happen. And in all the happening, it never happened at all. So it got to a point where I'm no, Bobby, don't laugh. So yes, it got to a point where me I say, Jesus, all right, come. It can't be a case where I am just here professing you, I'm living for you, I'm working for you, I'm speaking about your goodness. I have other people out there flourish, like my beard. You know, you have people out there flourish, and just nothing, but nothing is happening for me at all. It got so, and it was so, as a man, I don't want to probably drop the gun. But for me, although I'm not married, I don't have kids, I don't have an immediate family for my as my own. But to be in a state where you're moving from being independent to being now dependent for the simplest of things. I could not even afford to pay for a haircut.
Yeah.
Simple things like toiletries, I couldn't afford that. Had a vehicle, can't pay my car loan. You know, as in more simple, getting offering from my father to pay in church. And my father just came in the chat. Hi, Dad. How are you? But it got to a state where it was so dark, and so I remember days of not eating, not talking to anyone. I remember my mother got so concerned; she was crying one day because I just wasn't talking to anybody in the house. They couldn't understand what's happening in my mind, and I'm not going to lie. The thoughts of suicide, though the devil will play on you, it's nothing I acted on.
Yes.
You know, the thoughts came to mind because it would have been seemingly easier to not have to deal with this as opposed to be dealing with it. So I'm going to stop talking right now. I know Bobby probably has something to say on this topic.
I'm just here listening because, well, good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
We want you to tell us a bit about your story, but here's what I want you to bring in, Sir Bobby. I want you to bring into it. Tell us a bit, you know, when Jason spoke, what happens if you don't have a support team? You know, he had his father, he had persons there with him. We know in our own culture, men don't seem to be able to speak or have that leeway to speak freely, it would seem. Tell us a bit, even as you tell us your experience. What happens to the man who doesn't have that support, and how important is it to have support?
Well, let me start off by saying that in life, everybody needs a support system.
Yeah.
Because it gets real very fast.
Yes.
When you're no longer employed, when you no longer have that steady stream of income, it gets real very fast. And as a man, especially if you were very independent before, it can be very stressing. A lot of things start running through your mind. Okay, where am I gonna get money from? What do I need to do? What can I do? Because all my skills, everything that I can do, it's no longer working out because of what is going on now. So where do I turn? So without a support staff, it's like a lot of things gonna go through your mind. Okay, so I'm not gonna rob, I'm not gonna steal, I'm gonna stay on the straight and narrow. But what do I do? You cannot get a loan because you're gonna pay it back. So you cannot go to any financial institutions. That's not possible. You don't have a support system, so you cannot call and say, "Hey, Jason, you can lend me $50,000." No, because you don't have that support staff. So in cases like those, it gets real, and it gets real very quickly. So with that now, some person's gonna kill themselves. Is the reality. It's not nice. It's not. You just don't know what to do. Everywhere you turn is a roadblock, right? So it's easier to speak from a point of having a support staff, because even with a support staff, it gets hard. It gets hard. It's like as Jason said, the thought came to him once, but because he has been praying, he has been fasting, he has been talking to his support staff. Because sometimes Jason come and say, "Oh boy, Bobs, me no know how to work this out, you know. Me no know me go work this out. It's rough." I mean, and Meanwhile, I am no longer employed either.
We're in the same boat.
We're in the same boat, so both of us are saying that here we go, make we stay on the straight and narrow, make we work it out. Both of us started YouTube channels, and we said, okay, we're just gonna distract ourselves from what is going on, you know. And Jason, as old people that say, take your hand tone fashion. So Jason start bake. I said, okay, all right, go on. I'm from the country area, so here we go on. I'm gonna start a small business just to keep ourselves afloat. But that is our support system, and even with that, it's still hard. So I can imagine how persons not having that support system, their skills are put on pause because of what is going on in the pandemic. It gets real, honestly.
It does. And it is so important how
it seems to me.
Yes, go ahead. No, I was saying it is so interesting to see how Malcolm and I, it's the same dynamic, because he was one of my support system, a member of my support system. And it's ironic how he can speak to my story and I can speak to his, because we were battling with the same thing at the same time. Yeah.
Gentlemen, we're going to try to get in as much as we can today. We know that the Prime Minister should be addressing the nation at 6 p.m. And so we may or will be interrupted. And so we want to get in as much in this next 6 minutes as we can, you know.
All right.
Yeah, you had a question you want to ask. How does one navigate through these difficult times, you know? Because, man, it must be rough. What if you have a wife and children? You know, what do you do? The children are crying. Does this lead us to stealing? I heard you gentlemen becoming innovative and creative.
All right, Jason, let me...
Do women understand what's happening there at the time? What do you think? Do you have a support? Where do they believe man strong, man tough, and so anything I'm going to go through if I'm not face it up in weak?
Well, Malcolm, you have the wife, so go ahead.
All right, so yeah, let me take this one first. All right, so I used to take it for granted, saying that I'm a man, so I will deal with it. Because when she asks when wifey asks certain questions like, how we gonna pay for this? I said, don't worry about it, man. Me a man. I will find a way. I always find a way. But in this pandemic, it's like there was a point where it started to get real in the house, because she was like, what are we gonna do? You maybe need to start sending back out some more resumes. So she's trying to assist, but the pressure is real, because nobody's taking resumes right now because school is not on. You understand? I no longer can tour. So when I could tour, do some studio sessions, nobody can move because of the space and everything. So it got real very quickly. Sometimes I started to get agitated very quickly, but you can't snap on the wife, so you have to find, like, sometimes you have to just, she take one room, I take one room, and it was like, okay, when I'm clear through this, then I maybe can find an answer, maybe I can answer, but sometimes it get real, because I need to provide for my family, I have rent to pay, okay, what can I do? Like, so sometimes I just don't know what to do. Sometimes I find some solutions, you understand? Sometimes I find some solutions. Sometimes you have some things in the house we're no longer using, but they're in good quality because you take care of your stuff. And just sell them. You just sell something. You don't sell what you know that you're gonna need after the pandemic. But if you have something you don't need, like you have 3 TVs and you only really using one, you sell one. And it's
So where there's a will, there's a will. Yes, and their relatives as well. So tell me something. Does unemployment affect your self-esteem from both of you?
Yes, it does. Yeah, man.
And in what way? Explain to us and our listeners. How it affect your self-esteem? And your man of God, your man of faith. You shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. Whatsoever you do, it shall prosper. No, I'm just saying, talk to us. How
it,
did that
it is
affect your
it's you reading the scripture for me. The truth is, we're Christians, yes, we believe in God, yes, but we're humans as well. We are humans. We're humans and we're subject to human feelings. For me, and let me just shout out my father, Auntie Karine, Susie, Auntie Marva, they're all in the chat, just big him up over there. Thank you, lovely support system. But yeah, for me, it played on my worth.
Yes.
Because for me, when you have taken the time to build up yourself and get to a level professionally, when you now feel like, okay, things will turn around and nothing is happening, you start to question yourself, like, okay, maybe I'm not that worthy. Maybe I'm not somebody who is sought after job wise. And it starts to affect the way you think about yourself, the way you look at yourself, and the thoughts you internalize. So it definitely plays on your self-esteem. If you don't have that strong background, or if you don't have the will to pull yourself up when you're down, it will surely get you down. I know we're strapped for time, but Malcolm, what you say?
Well, it's true, because there was points in time where I was like, I don't understand. Something else said, did I do something wrong in life?
Yeah, because it don't make no sense.
It don't make no sense. It's like
It don't
you're
make no
trying,
sense.
but it don't make sense. And you're saying that, am I that same successful person that my family used to be proud of? Am I that person that my wife used to look up to? And so you start value, like you start really devalue yourself. And
Yes.
then, because you're not working, you don't want to look worse than whatever. So you're still trying to
You
put
try
yourself
keep
in a
up.
nice way, dress nice, to try keep up. But you say, okay, my friends want to do a link up, but can I really spend $10,000 or $15,000 this week?
You can't go.
2 days from now. You
Yes.
understand? But how do you say no? Say I can't come there so because I don't have no money. How that work? Wife, you say I want to do my ear, but you say, boy, if you look at money where you have left, if you do our ear now, if you want to buy a shirt next week, can you foot that new bill? So everything is weighing on your mind. It's like sometimes you just depressed.
Yes.
Some men are listening probably need to be encouraged, and your stories in themselves are inspirational. I'm trying to operate within the confines of this broadcast that's about to happen. Talk to us. Your stories are real, they are genuine. You're a Christian man. You show that Christian men face depression. Advise someone who is going through a similar situation during the pandemic. What do they do? How do they manage, if you can? Because truthfully, we need to hear. You guys have survived it. Robert already said some didn't, and
Yeah.
we don't know. We need to save some men.
For me, what I would say is you have to, one, be real with yourself. So lying to yourself or acting as though it's not happening will only make it worse.
So
You have to
admission
come to
is
terms,
important.
yes, man. You have to come to terms with your reality and own it. So for a big thing for me was not being a victim of being unemployed. So although I was down, as a Christian, I had to stand on the promises of God. I had to realize that JC, your life not going to be smooth. There are going to be challenges. It's probably not the one I would want, but I have to understand that God has me in this space right now to work out something better for me. And on the other hand, while I was waiting for that corporate job, I put my hands to work. So I started to bake. I did speaking engagements. I invested in a male beard care line. So I started to occupy my space with what I can do and hone a skill to have something coming in. So sitting down and waiting won't solve it. You're not in it alone, but there is a way out. It's not going to rain forever. You have to hold on to the fact that better is coming. And while you wait, you prepare. So in waiting for that job, uplift your skills, do a free course, try cook something, try bake something, try launch a business, do something to occupy yourself. And that might just be your way out, because in me doing that, doors opened up for me to get a job. So now I can do both. So so just be honest with yourself, trust God, trust the process, and be confident in your ability to do things that you think that you cannot do.
Jason, a very important question I want to ask you. What did you bake?
I bake lovely cheesecakes. My cheesecakes are top tier, I'm telling you.
Are you serious?
Yes, man. Yes, man. Strawberry cheesecake.
So how did you learn to do that? Did you know that before or what? Is the pandemic?
When the pandemic started in March, something I would do to ease my mind and to stay sane is to bake with my nephew. So every week we'd have tried a new recipe until I'm like, wait, I'm good at this. So I'm like, let me try to see if I can sell some cakes. And my first time I sold over 50 cheesecakes. And
50?
persons, yes, man, 50. And persons loved it. So yeah, I'm a father. He always loves the baking. So we keep it going.
Robert, how does the man who doesn't have 2 degrees like this man, who doesn't necessarily have some of those other resources, how does he navigate? Someone who is listening, who knows? They probably tried 2 banana cake and it flopped. What does he do?
All right. So the first thing, as Jason said, you have to come to terms with it quick and fast. Right? So yes, the pandemic is here, so you cannot live the same life that you used to live before. Right? So don't try to maintain that lifestyle because it won't be possible because of everything that's going on. So what I would say now, yes, it's hard, but don't give up. Try something new. Sometimes you might have to settle for a job that's a little bit beneath you just to stay afloat. It's okay. I don't think this is gonna last forever, but try stay afloat until it passes. Right? So if you don't have two degrees like Jason, but you have 1, so you have a high school, so you can teach high school. Maybe you need to take a primary school job. That's okay for now, right? You might need to try something else, like what I did. I started a small business, and I'm in livestock, right? My degree is not in livestock, but I have a business in livestock.
That's where the money is.
So what is that? What is that livestock? Talk to us about that.
All right. For me, I have layer birds, and I've done plus broad.
You have to tell Courtney. You have to tell Courtney what is layers, man. You have to talk to Courtney because next thing him thinks is lamb or goat.
I wonder which Courtney is talking about who raised poultry for how many years of his life. I wonder which Courtney is talking about.
Is the Courtney Negril?
Okay.
Yeah, talk to us.
So
yeah.
Now, so basically, I supply eggs, and I also supply broilers. So if you want chickens to buy, I supply a person with that. If you want eggs, I also provide that as well.
Where do you get the space to do that, though? Someone who doesn't have.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Everybody, sometimes you need to branch out and try something different. So you might cannot bake like Jason because I cannot bake like Jason. So I'm not going to do that, right? But given that I have family in Manchester and Clarendon, I start now to occupy that space and say, look, I'm gonna try this. So everybody's case might be different. You might have somebody as a neighbor that build blocks. You can join them and say, look, I can get to work with you and build some block and some stuff. So you actually branch out there. So you understand? So,
but you know what I find interesting, you know, Robert, you are an educator of music, an international percussionist who work with the likes of Buju Banton, Chevelle Franklin, Kabaka Pyramid, and all these important people, and you are laying eggs. No,
I am not laying.
No, he's not laying eggs. The birds are laying the eggs, Kevin. We just got a notice. We'll be cutting airtime soon. They're standing by for the Prime Minister, and so we continue streaming on our social media pages. So let's go ahead.
Yes, no, but I find it very interesting. Just how you guys have been able to make the adjustment and to adjust to the changes. And I think that's very significant, you know, especially if our men are going to do well in crisis situation like the pandemic. So I really want you to kind of reiterate, underscore the significance of changing your mindset. Is that a big thing, guys, that you really have to find a place to change your mindset to get where you want to go?
It is, because if you speak
It
defeat to
takes time.
yourself,
It is.
go ahead, Marco.
Go ahead, Jason.
All right, so I'm saying, if you take on the defeatist attitude and you cultivate that mentally every day, you will never ever see the way out.
Mm.
So sometimes you have to tell yourself, in light of the darkness, you have to force yourself to see the light and begin to pull yourself out. Because the truth is, for some persons, they will have that support to help pull them out. But what I will always say is there comes a time in life when you have to be your own lifeguard, your life vest, your boat, and the water. So you have to learn to pull yourself out sometimes. And when you start to change your mindset, that is when things will start to look up for you. Because if you stay in that negative space every day, although it is hard, it is hard to see the light. I'm telling you, there are some days it's literally a fight to get out of bed. It's a fight to pray, a fight to read the Bible. It's a fight to talk. It's a fight to smile. It's a fight to smile. It's a fight to want to open your eyes to stay alive. There are probably some mornings you wake up and you're like, okay, here we go again.
Yes.
Because it gets so daunting sometimes. But you have to learn. You have to get to a point where you have to shake yourself. You have to shake yourself. And you have to be like, all right, come, let's try again. Even if nothing proves futile right now, we're gonna try again, because something must happen. It must happen. If the door won't open for me, I will just build it, cut out the door. Yeah, man, the door jam, everything on the lock, put it up, paint it, and open it myself and walk through.
Jason, I'm listening to you and I'm so impressed and actually encouraged.
Yes.
I'm wondering if someone like you wouldn't want to do seminars and host some, host some conferences to help our men, because many of our men are stuck in that mindset and feel as if there's no hope. How do you suppose we can get the message even out there, apart from what we're doing here on the mailbox, to get to our men, especially during this season of challenge? What do you believe we can do? How can the church become involved? How can we host conferences and have speakers like Kevin Bailey and yourself there to ensure that all things work together for good?
It's so funny that you said that, because I've been battling with a thought of something to do. And I will just take this as a confirmation to do that. But for me, I decided, I was in Bible class last year, June, after my father's birthday. While employed, the Lord spoke to me and he's like, you're going to start your YouTube channel. You're going to do self-help videos. Share of your experience to help other persons.
Yes.
Not knowing that I would have been laid off a couple months from now. And one of my stories, I remember being laid off the Thursday. I got in front of my camera the Sunday after church, and I recorded the video speaking about losing my job.
Wow.
And the reception was so great from that. And ever since, I made a commitment that I am not going to be a victim of my story, but I'm going to turn the story into a good experience and help other persons. So I personally made a commitment, whichever avenue I get to express my experience with job loss and depression, I'm going to speak boldly about it. Because one thing in our culture, men, we go through things, but not a lot of men are willing to stand up and say, I have been through this, and this is how I got out. Many persons just want to stay quiet and then do a show when everything is fine again. But no, there are things that happens in between that, and it is because of that experience that I can be on this platform and tell somebody that you can get over it. You can get over it. It's a fact. So I am big on owning my story. It is my story. Nobody can ever shame me for being unemployed. I put my business on the internet to help somebody else. And I have that support of my family in sharing my story, because they were integral in the journey. So I am committed And I am not saying you should go out and just tell your business, because there are parameters in which I share my story. But there are persons who can just take tidbits of your story, and that will give them strength to move on another day, or it will open a door. Funny enough, there are so many persons who would have inboxed me and be like, Jason, I watched your video, I reconnected with God, and now I am employed, and I had to come and tell you that I am employed. And the funny thing is, so many persons got jobs before me, and I was there celebrating them, because I'm like, listen, you're opening the door, so I'm gonna step through soon. But let's just celebrate each other as God works, and that's just how it works. That's how He works. God knows why I went through what I went through. I can't be sad about it or mad about it. He writes the story. I'm just a player in it.
While you're speaking there, Jason, the verse in Revelation, they overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. How are you going to have a testimony if you don't have the experiences?
Trust me.
And those adverse situations? But don't you have to be comfortable in your skin to be able to share the truth, to be able to be candid? And many of us were waiting for the good times, so we only speak about the good times when we are victorious. We don't normally, as man, say we are go through this. Or you get to reach there, so Jason.
Boy, let me tell you, let me tell you. You see those 7 months? I said the other day, those 7 months, I felt like God just took me up and put me on a special part of a mountain and just left me there to be worked on. Because the way I'm speaking now, I couldn't have spoken that way last year. Yeah. So it's a case where I use the opportunity to get closer to God and to seek Him differently, and to really understand His purpose for my life. Because it never did make sense to me. So I had to seek Him to see what was the sense in all of this. And it was funny that my bishop, my dad, he at the top of the year he spoke a message.
Yes.
And I'm not a preacher, but it was pretty much referencing when there was a period of drought, and the Lord said that rain will come, and persons did not see the indicators of the rain, but there was a sound, and He declared this year the year of abundant releases. So I had to hold on to the promises of God and know, so listen, if it happens at the end of the year, something will happen for me. Something will happen for me. So I can speak this way because of my experiences and because of my relationship with Jesus. I am young, yes, and I have made mistakes, yes. I have had times when I denied being a Christian or didn't want to speak openly about it, but no, I will open my mouth and speak for the Lord.
Awesome. One of the things you have said, Jason, is owning it, admitting to it that this is happening. You can't be denying it. You have to be.
Yeah.
And then you have to come to that place of humility.
Yes.
Of saying, hey, this is where I'm at. How do I get to where I need to be?
Yeah.
I think, I don't know if you can speak to persons as well. You were unemployed for 7 months. I know persons who have been unemployed for over the year. Speak to someone who may be saying, I think time is running out. Jason can speak. He only 7 months. I've gone 17. I've gone 2 years. The man who is not sure, he's probably now looking how to do a scam, to get a visa, to go overseas, to sell some of that goodness stuff that you can now carry around 2 ounces. How do you reach that individual, and say, hey, Jason was born with ghost spoon in his mouth, Kev? How do I speak to the masses as well? Story is awesome, great, but we want to also capture everyone. As a matter of fact, I don't mind you capturing the lady who is listening now. That a sense of understanding what men go through, and that they are not necessarily as tough as they are deemed to be in terms of, emotionally. We talk to the man about his emotions as well, and the culture that has stereotyped us, that has kept us somewhat in a little prison.
Yeah. All right, so let me just touch on your first point. The truth is, life is filled with experiences. Some we can try to explain, some we'll never understand. And there are times when we're on a path that is not beneficial to us, or a path that we should not be in. So I would say to that person, it might sound harsh, but look at what you're trying to pursue. Is that what you're supposed to be doing? You know? Is it that you're supposed to be at a different avenue in life? Is it that you should be doing what you really love and not so much trying to chase being rich by getting the big remunerations, but doing something to bring joy and pleasure to persons around you? It's also a case of, for some persons, it's a need of analysis and reevaluation.
Yes.
For some persons, it's a case where they're so stuck in their way of doing things, they're not open to change. So you can probably, I know there are possibly persons who would have had that resume from 2019.
Yes.
Have made no adjustments to the resume, no tweaks, no formatting change, no proofreading, no consultation on that resume, and are still sending out the 2019 resume in 2021. So you have to look at these things. It is okay to go back to the drawing board and see how you can do things differently. If it's a case where you don't have the capacity to make your resume as pretty as you'd like it to be, or as appealing, we have the privilege now of, there are a lot of online sites offering free certifications. In the time, try to upgrade your skill and then try again. Look at how you're approaching the job. Are you sending in applications every day for months? You're going to get overwhelmed. Make a timetable. Let's say, okay, for these 2 days, let us send out. For the other 2 days, let us do touch points. There was
Just
one
start the wrap up.
Okay. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So I'll just say, just do things differently and try again.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jason. Robert was here with us. We were hoping would have had some persons, really interacting with us as well. But the broadcast for the Prime Minister is about to begin, and so we're going to be cutting from the radio, but we'll still be here on live stream on Facebook. So remember, those of you who are still with us, you may even sending your questions via our Facebook page. You can still do the WhatsApp by sending those messages. Text us. The WhatsApp number 876-997-3125. You see, I don't have that in front of me here now. I'm trying to remember it by heart. But indeed, powerful things that are being said by Jason here. And again, just let us remind you who Jason is. He's a 2020 Prime Minister, Youth Awardee. He's a mentor, village director at SOS Children's Village, YouTuber, owner at Flourishment's Care, and philanthropist. He was unemployed for 7 months because of the pandemic. Let us point that out to you too. But he became innovator. So he has left out of his resume, he's also a baker. So he does top tier cheesecakes. He said so himself, and we're taking his word.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
We need a sample to ensure that is true. The proof is in the taste of the cheesecake.
I'll make this week for you, and I also do cheesecake stuffed chocolate chip cookies.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my favorite, by the way, cheesecake, and you put chocolate chip and cheesecake together.
Yes, man.
Yes, I'm going to leave you and Courtney to talk about the chocolate. Tell me, the man who is in a relationship,
Yes.
Some men are married, and they feel a sense of worth and value when they can provide and contribute and make sure the bills are taken care of the children. Others, they have intimate, committed relationships, and they want to play their part as well. What happens to that man when he's not working and his wife is the only one working, or his girlfriend, his fiancée working, and he has lost it, like, oh my gosh, what am I in this relationship? What can I bring? What do you say to men who are in these situations, Jason?
The basis of any good relationship is communication, right? So as Malcolm was alluded to earlier, it comes down to there needs to be a talk and an understanding in the house. The truth is you're used to being the superior earner or the provider in the house. But the truth is it's called a union for a reason. Although you have your roles or societal norms, there is nothing wrong if your wife, due to the circumstances you're under, can assist in taking the lead financially per se for a while. No, I think what the issue is that some men are so concerned that their partners will diminish their character because they cannot do what they're used to doing. That's why I would mention communication being a key factor. It's not a case of you're going to call me down or talk me down or get on my back every day because I can't do what I'm used to doing. It's understanding our circumstances, and as a team, we're going to see what we can do and what works best with our household. If it's a case where we can probably cut money on the nanny because you can take care of the kids, that's a cost saving. It's a case where as a team we can come up with a business idea or a way to capitalize on our funding. That's also another idea. If it's a case where the wife now helps with the job hunting and the interviewing and the refining of skills, there are ways to operate as a team to make it work. And the thing is, we can't look at what society is saying or what other couples are doing or what you might or what people might say or might comment on. It is your household. At the end of the day, no matter how much people can talk, they're not living in your household. So you have to do what is best for your household. If your wife is fine being the top earner and there is no contention or there's no strife in the house, it works for you. And that is what works for your dynamic. But I think once there are clear lines of communication and understanding and probably targeted deliverables or targeted timelines for things to be done, your wife can be like, okay, honey, I'm going to give you 2 weeks to be depressed and to soap and to not want to do anything. But after those 2 weeks, you and I can work this out. We have this amount of savings. We're carrying this monthly, but I think this is what you can probably do. Or find ways. So it's a case of the helpmeet, both persons being that helpmeet, and seeing how we can get the household afloat or keep it afloat in the best way possible. But that requires the man to get beyond his ego and what he thinks society says he should be, and also for the wife to prove how you can be that genuine support in even uplifting your boyfriend, your husband, your fiance until he gets to where you are to be.
Oh,
this is a man of wisdom. This is a man of wisdom, way beyond his age. I think that beard has something to do with it. I need a beard. But indeed,
it's honestly what I see in my household. My parents, they set a great foundation. Honestly, honestly, a great foundation.
We have been listening to a wonderful time, and we have 4 minutes until the hour of 6:30. I want you to tell us, after going through, telling us that the man needs to get that ego down and the wife proving to be genuine support. What do we do next in terms of, we have had this discussion, we are here, we're highlighting so much. Again, I go back to the question, what is it that a Jason can do? You have a YouTube. I implore you, sir, get out there. You have impacted my life today, and I can tell you this. And so I'm hoping that the persons who are listening, that their lives are being impacted as well. So, sir, I don't know where Robert ran off to. His phone looked like it must have died because it seemed that's where he was. But
yeah, he was traveling. He was traveling back from the farm.
Yeah. How do we get our men, after hearing all that you have said, to come to a position of being truly what God has designed them to be? Your final thoughts on having them Kevin said, you are like a tree planted by the rivers of water. Suppose the water not the tree root. Why have you removed, or has the water been removed?
You have to dig
How
again.
do you find those resources? How do you pull a support team together? What? Just tie it all together for us in the last couple of minutes.
All right, from the Christian standpoint, I think that we have to get to the fundamentals of life, where we have to embody what Jesus called us to do, and that is to be our brother's keeper. So wherever, it's not just about coming on social media and talking, getting a big following. We can impact persons in the smallest way. So it could be the persons in your church, in your community, persons you know who are struggling. Let's not turn a blind eye to what's happening in front of us, but try to help as many persons as possible. The other thing is we have to model that which we believe. So if we know that we are going through and we have gotten over, share the story of how others can do that. Create the forum to speak about it and to encourage, drop practical gems on how others can do the same. And thirdly, we have to learn to use our voices for the better of things. We can comment on COVID numbers. We can comment on what the government is not doing. We can comment on funny videos. We can comment on TikToks. We can post videos. But let us find time to give a voice to things that would uplift men as well, and model that what we want to see. Yes, man, we have to model it. We can talk about it, but we have to start being about what we say. And only then will transformation, I believe, come. So in my own little lane, I'm going to start doing what I can do with my teenagers at church, with my nephew, with my friends, with my circle, with persons who follow me. I'm going to start to emulate and drop how I get to this level, and hopefully they can pick something and get over with it, you know? So I believe. I know Little Miss Overcome was asking, my YouTube channel is called Life Lessons with Jason. It's Life Lessons with Jason on YouTube. And you can follow me on all my socials at the JCDB. That's THEJCDB on all my socials. Yeah.
Awesome. And that's how we put the wrap on today's show, this week's show here on the Mailbox. Thanks to our producer, Tony K. Bromfield, to Nissan Williams for technical support, and our guests, Jason Brown and Robert Malcolm, who unfortunately had to leave us. Listen again next week, same place, same time, for another show inside the Mailbox, the program designed for men with guests who are men, hosted by yours truly, Courtney Morrison and
Kevin Bailey. So next time, Monday up.